Metal-clad cable, often referred to as MC cable, can indeed be installed along the underside of exposed floor joists based on the provisions outlined in the National Electrical Code, or NEC. The permissibility stems from a combination of factors, primarily the NEC allowances for open runs of cable and the similarities in installation practices between MC cable and armored cable, which is explicitly permitted in certain scenarios. Firstly, let's delve into the specific NEC articles that govern this type of installation. NEC Article 320.15 addresses the installation of armored cable, often referred to as AC cable, and stipulates that it can be run exposed along the bottom of floor joists, provided that it is securely fastened to every joist. This requirement ensures that the cable is adequately supported and protected from physical damage. Secondly, NEC Article 330.10E8 pertains to the permitted uses of metal-clad cable. This section explicitly states that MC cable is permitted for use as open runs of cable. The term open runs of cable is significant because it implies that MC cable can be installed in locations where it is exposed and not concealed within walls, floors, or ceilings. This allowance is crucial in determining whether MC cable can be installed along the underside of floor joists. Understanding the intent and application of these NEC articles requires careful consideration of the terminology used in the overall context of the electrical code. The NEC is designed to ensure electrical safety and prevent fire hazards, so all installations must adhere to its requirements. The phrase open runs of cable is not explicitly defined in the NEC, but its common interpretation within the electrical industry is that it refers to cable installations where the cable is visible and accessible. This interpretation aligns with the allowance for MC cable to be installed along the underside of floor joists, as this location is typically considered an exposed and accessible area. The key requirement for installing MC cable along the underside of floor joists is that it must be properly supported and secured. This means that the cable must be fastened to each floor joist using appropriate cable supports, such as cable staples or cable ties. The spacing between supports should be sufficient to prevent the cable from sagging or becoming damaged. The NEC does not specify the exact spacing for cable supports in this scenario, but a general rule of thumb is to provide support at intervals of no more than 4.5 feet and closer if necessary to ensure adequate support. The type of cable support used should be appropriate for the size and type of MC cable being installed. Cable staples should be driven in straight and not overdriven, as this can damage the cable's outer jacket and potentially create a safety hazard. Cable ties should be tightened securely, but not so tightly that they damage the cable. In addition to providing adequate support, it is also important to protect the MC cable from physical damage. This may involve installing the cable in a location where it is less likely to be struck or damaged by objects. If the cable is exposed to potential physical damage, it may be necessary to install a protective covering, such as a metal conduit or a cable tray. The NEC provides specific requirements for protecting cables from physical damage in various locations, and these requirements should be followed carefully. Another important consideration when installing MC cable is the proper grounding of the cable. The metal jacket of MC cable is typically used as the equipment grounding conductor, which means that it must be properly connected to the electrical system's grounding electrode system. This connection ensures that any fault current will safely flow back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or fuse and preventing electrical shock hazards. The NEC provides detailed requirements for grounding electrical systems, and these requirements should be followed carefully. The specific grounding requirements for MC cable depend on the size of the cable, the type of electrical system, and the location of the installation. Generally, the metal jacket of the MC cable must be connected to a grounding terminal in each electrical box or enclosure where the cable terminates. This connection can be made using a grounding screw, a grounding clip, or a grounding bushing. In addition to the general requirements for installing MC cable, there may be specific requirements that apply to certain types of installations. For example, if the MC cable is being installed in a wet or damp location, it must be listed for use in such locations. This typically means that the cable has a moisture-resistant outer jacket and is designed to prevent water from entering the cable. The NEC also provides specific requirements for installing cables in hazardous locations, such as areas where flammable materials are present. These requirements are designed to prevent explosions and fires. It is essential to consult the NEC and any applicable local codes to ensure that all installations are in compliance with the requirements. When installing MC cable along the underside of floor joists, it is also important to consider the potential for the cable to be exposed to heat. If the cable is located near a heat source, such as a furnace or a hot water heater, it may be necessary to install a heat shield to protect the cable from overheating. The NEC provides specific requirements for protecting cables from heat, and these requirements should be followed carefully. The type of heat shield used should be appropriate for the temperature of the heat source and the type of MC cable being installed. In some cases, it may be necessary to use a special type of MC cable that is designed to withstand high temperatures. The installation of MC cable along the underside of floor joists also requires careful attention to the bending radius of the cable. The bending radius is the minimum radius that the cable can be bent without damaging it. The NEC provides specific requirements for the bending radius of MC cable, and these requirements should be followed carefully. The bending radius depends on the size of the cable and the type of outer jacket. Generally, the bending radius should be at least 5 times the diameter of the cable. If the cable is bent too sharply, it can damage the conductors inside the cable and create a safety hazard. When installing MC cable, it is also important to avoid pulling the cable too tightly. Pulling the cable too tightly can damage the conductors inside the cable and create a safety hazard. The NEC provides specific requirements for the pulling tension of MC cable, and these requirements should be followed carefully. The pulling tension depends on the size of the cable and the type of outer jacket. Generally, the pulling tension should not exceed the manufacturer's recommendations. It is also important to avoid kinking or twisting the cable during installation. Kinking or twisting the cable can damage the conductors inside the cable and create a safety hazard. The NEC provides specific requirements for handling MC cable, and these requirements should be followed carefully. In addition to the technical requirements for installing MC cable, it is also important to follow good safety practices. Always disconnect the power before working on any electrical circuit. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. Use tools that are in good condition and are designed for the task at hand. If you are not comfortable working on electrical circuits, hire a qualified electrician. The NEC is a comprehensive document that provides detailed requirements for all aspects of electrical installations. It is essential to consult the NEC and any applicable local codes to ensure that all installations are in compliance with the requirements. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it is important to use the latest edition. The NEC is available from the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA. In summary, the installation of MC cable along the underside of floor joists is permitted by the NEC, provided that certain requirements are met. These requirements include providing adequate support, protecting the cable from physical damage, properly grounding the cable, and following all applicable safety practices. It is essential to consult the NEC and any applicable local codes to ensure that all installations are in compliance with the requirements. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your MC cable installation is safe, reliable, and in compliance with the NEC. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it is always best to hire a qualified electrician if you are not comfortable working on electrical circuits yourself. Let's recap the key points to remember when installing MC cable under floor joists. Firstly, ensure compliance with NEC Articles 320.15 and 330.10 E8. Secondly, securely fasten the cable to every joist with appropriate supports. Thirdly, protect the cable from physical damage and potential heat sources. Fourthly, properly ground the cable's metal jacket. Fifthly, adhere to the correct bending radius and pulling tension. Sixthly, always prioritize safety by disconnecting power and wearing protective gear. Seventhly, consult the latest edition of the NEC and local codes. By adhering to these principles, you can achieve a safe and compliant installation. Always consult with a qualified electrician if you have any doubts or concerns about your electrical work. The information presented here is for educational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician before undertaking any electrical work. The NEC guidelines and local codes are subject to change, so it is essential to stay updated on the latest requirements. The goal is to ensure a safe and compliant electrical installation that protects people and property from electrical hazards. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility, and it is up to everyone to follow the rules and regulations to prevent accidents and injuries. By working together, we can create a safer environment for ourselves and our communities.